What's poppin'? And welcome to another Pop Bite minisode here at Popcorn with me, your host Cholo Sediaren, and here with me today is my good friend Bea Racoma.
Hey there! What's up mga madlang people?
Ano to, showtime?
Of course.
Anyway, so ano pang pag-uusapan natin in this minisode? Kasi last Friday, me and Bea watched Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Yes.
So this is another review episode for a movie. And this movie was directed by director Michael Dougherty.
Dougherty. It's like
Doe,
Doe.
a deer, a female deer.
Ang funny mo, Cholo, ah.
Or Dougherty, yung character sa Wizard of Oz.
Pwede na din. Mga
Pwede na.
8 out of 10, oo.
At least
Oo,
8 out of 10. Mataas.
Oo.
Magaling si Bea.
Unlike.
Mahilig siya sa mataas na standards, hopefully.
The ratings.
Anyway, so let's talk about Godzilla.
Yes.
Let's just get into it. Like I just watched the original or the first one from 2014.
Okay.
Like a few days before we watched the sequel, and I was actually surprised about that first one. Like the human story to it was really good.
True.
Bryan Cranston was
Oh
there.
my God, yeah.
Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen,
Yes.
who were a couple, and then like a year after they were siblings in Avengers Age of Ultron. I'm RIP
God.
to Quicksilver. But
R.I.P. to Aaron Taylor Johnson in both films, actually.
he didn't die in Godzilla.
Didn't die.
No, he didn't.
Didn't he?
He didn't.
Testing your knowledge, Cholo.
Yes.
Good job, you watched it.
I won. I won talaga.
May premyo. Oo.
But anyway, so I hope somehow Elizabeth Olsen or Scarlet Witch survives Quicksilver when it comes to the MCU. But going back to the topic of the day, we're talking about Godzilla. So coming into this movie,
Yeah.
I was like, that was pretty good. Like better than I expected, because a lot of these monster movies are just, monster movies without
That's
much
true.
depth
Mhm.
and all that. So I was excited for Godzilla, and Bea ditched me the first time.
Well, because hindi nagkatugma yung schedules natin, but
Yeah, but she
brought us
watched ahead of
together.
me.
I did.
And we're here.
Sorry. I know, we're here now. At least I didn't spoil. Hindi
Yeah.
ako spoiler person.
One of our interns in the office kind of spoiled
Oh
me,
my
but it
God.
didn't really matter. Shout out to Janos. Hopefully you're listening to this podcast. So let's head
Yes.
into the sequel called King of Monsters. The plot, what happened in the movie, Bea?
So in the movie, the major plot is that the Titans are all, like getting woken up by this scientist named Emma Russell. So in the movie, that's she's portrayed by Vera Farmiga, whom you guys should know from the Conjuring universe. Yes, hindi lang yan
Yes,
movies
Vera.
universe. Oh, Vera Farmiga. And so her character joins forces with another eco-terrorist, and they decide to wake
Tywin Lannister.
Yes, for those who watch Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Watch. Oh, so
This is a lot of like universes coming together.
I know.
Because Vera Farmiga from the Conjuring universe, Tywin Lannister, I forget his real name.
It's okay.
He's
That's
from
all you
Game
have
of
to know.
Thrones. And
Yeah.
Millie Bobby Brown, who's 11 in Stranger Things, makes her film debut in this movie.
And she is wonderful in this movie. So she plays the daughter of that scientist. So who unleashes
whose name is Madison.
Yes, Madison. That's Millie Bobby Brown. So her mom unleashes the Titans, wakes them up because she hopes to save the world.
Okay, wait.
With the
Yung
Titan.
pangalan pala ni Tywin is Charles Dance.
Charles Dance. As
He looks
in
so
Sayaw?
evil, but he's such a nice
Nice man.
name. Charles Dance.
Well, I guess it's like proving your name wrong. I don't know. What's your thing?
I guess. I mean, yeah. But
Well,
that happened in the movie. They
that did
woke
happen.
up a lot of
A
Titans
lot.
in the wake of the first movie.
Yeah. 5 years
Because
later.
nawala si Godzilla.
Mm-mm.
So they're all like, they're trying to track Godzilla. The people at Monarch, which is this scientific
Organization. Yeah, they're like a
Organization.
super secret organization that handles
yeah,
the
they
Titans.
apparently have all this high-tech equipment.
Yeah.
But yun nga, the people in the movie, only Dr. Serizawa came from the first movie, and his assistant Vivian Graham, who's played by Sally Hawkins, who is in Shape of Water. Si Ken Watanabe's name is familiar. I think he's in a lot of
he's in a lot of films. He's a
Asian
big Japanese
films.
actor.
Yeah.
That's why.
So ayun, there's so much good casting in this.
Yes. Sobrang solid ng casting.
But yun nga, what happens is that they're trying to figure out why the Titans are awakening.
Yeah.
And trying to wake more Titans up because they figured out that there are a lot of Titans all around the world.
Oh my god, as in they're almost 20, diba? They say like 17 and counting.
Okay, so for those who haven't watched, spoilers ahead.
Yeah. Oops, should have put a tag. Spoiler alert, guys.
I mean, the plot is, you can watch it from the trailer.
Yes.
But spoiler ahead, what's gonna happen is that iba pala yung intention si Dr. Emma.
Yes.
Na her intention pala was to awaken all the Titans because she believes that humanity are the pests in the world and not the Titans, because the Titans were there way before the whole human society, and the humans are destroying Mother Earth, which is, what's happening in real life.
That's true.
Which makes it very sad.
And relevant, actually. There's that whole environmental ecological warrior angle to the film. But it's actually proven in the film, and another spoiler alert, that the Titans and the radiation that they radiate actually do bring, certain areas of the earth back to life.
Yes, that was shown in Japan. Yeah. Where one of the Motus ba? Mutos.
Baliktad. Malapit
That's
na.
where they awakened. Yeah. And that area became like a rainforest.
And San Francisco.
San Francisco. So this is set all around the world. Yeah. Like may Mexico, may Antarctica.
Yes.
May Boston.
Of course.
That's their main American city.
Not New York.
So, I mean, why I wanted to have a mini-sode about this is because it's been getting criticisms.
Yes.
Which somehow I get, but at the same time, I want to comment on.
Yeah.
Because I think the main criticism was that it's just a monster movie. Where's the human story to this? And at one point, I think, why do you want to have that much of a human story in a monster movie in the first place?
I think that, because I was also reading articles about yung criticisms nga against Godzilla, and they do make good points, I guess. Like, for me, I loved the film, but some of these points included like how Hollywood has failed to make a Godzilla film or kaiju film that's not number one, too on the nose about its advocacy system. Na parang, environmentalism, guys, humans are evil, let's kill them all. That's which doesn't always sit well with people. And,
that's true.
Diba? And another thing is that certain critics want the Titans to represent something more than just Titans, because that's what a lot of people say good monster movies have.
Yeah, but yun nga, for me kasi I'm reading the Rotten Tomatoes critics consensus, and it says the movie delivers spectacular kaiju action and reaffirms that cutting-edge effects are still no substitute for a good story. I beg to differ, because coming into any movie, I think you already know what you want to expect. True. And for a lot of people, they expect this to be a monster movie spectacular, and it was awesome. It delivered as a monster movie spectacular, and that's why I enjoyed it so much. Like, the tomato meter is a rotten 40%, but the audience score is actually 85%, which means that people are actually enjoying it more than critics.
Which happens a lot with diba? With a lot of films.
I trust critics naman. I try to be a critic a lot of the time. That's why we're on this mini-sode. But I mean, reading into critics' criticisms are just subjective.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Of course, they do have great points because they studied this, they studied film, and they learned how to write about film in a good way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, watching film is such a subjective experience.
True.
And, to each is his own.
Yeah.
I guess people who know me and are listening to this are like, but you critique movies so much. But like, it is what it is.
Exactly.
And for this movie in particular, I loved it.
Yeah. I think kasi like with regard to movie criticism, you have to check then. I mean, this also goes hand in hand with like literary criticism. You have to see if a certain work accomplishes what it set out to accomplish. So you don't necessarily compare it to, let's say, other movies or even in the whole canon or in the genre, or even in, let's say, if it's in the series, but you judge it based on its own merits, and that's why I agree.
But it's hard if it's a big franchise as
true.
well. Kasi yun nga, comparing to the first Godzilla, the human story here kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. Like, I would have preferred na they had established this family in the first movie, or they just continued with the family that was already shown in the first movie. Kasi it felt very like random na, okay, here's Vera Farmiga and Kyle Chandler and Millie Bobby Brown. This is a good Hollywood family, and let's have a movie with Godzilla in it.
That's true. I also think though, like, given the state of the franchise, na baka it also comes off as sort of a plot device na parang, okay, let's bring these people in and have this sort of plot, not only to relate it to like climate change, the climate change crisis, but also to bring in the other Titans.
But I think yun nga, we never know what happens behind the scenes. Like, we sometimes do through news articles, but I think it's a case na baka hindi naman free pala sila Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen and their kid to have a sequel.
True.
But yun nga, one of the things that I noticed is that, this could have been developed further had they been in the first movie.
Yeah.
And
true.
I think that's why future sequels will have Kyle Chandler and Millie Bobby Brown continuing the story na.
Yay! Confirmed na.
Yeah, I think so. The only people who appeared in previous film, a previous Godzilla film, because King Kong Skull Island is also part of this universe.
Yes.
We'll talk about that later. But see Dr. Serizawa again and Vivian Graham, his assistant / I don't know, love interest. I'd like to think they had like a bond. They appeared in the first movie, and they kind of bridged the story together, as but like, see, Dr. Serizawa's lines were mostly just like Gojira. something Gojira.
Like 90%.
Yeah, like even all he had to say was like Gojira.
So
and of course, Americans would be like, ano yung pinagsasabi mong Gojira na yan? Godzilla na lang.
That's true. I'm like, respect the origins, because Godzilla, as maybe not all of us know, was actually a Japanese kaiju. Kaiju is like it's monster / titan in Japanese culture. And interestingly enough, since we're talking about Godzilla, if you guys didn't know, he was actually created in the 50s or 60s in response to the bombing of Japan by the US. So Godzilla actually represented the fear that the Japanese people had of another nuclear disaster. Yeah. Right. So it's actually kind of ironic that the Americans are
creating a Godzilla universe.
Exactly. It's like, oof.
Gojira.
Speaking of Gojira, diba there were other Titans in the movie?
Yes, this was the bulk of the movie.
Super.
But before that, I'd like to commend Millie Bobby Brown.
Yes.
She did well, my child.
Your child talaga.
Not my child, our collective
baby.
Pop culture child.
Yes.
Because everyone knows she was 11 in Stranger Things.
Course.
And to me, coming into this, I was like, it's so hard to be Millie Bobby Brown because your first ever role is already iconic enough.
Super.
So how do you make people believe that you're a different character again? And she did this in this movie.
Super.
She was a different character and she was pretty good. And hopefully she shows more versatility in the next film and in their next projects. But I was kind of half expecting her to raise her hands and control kaijus right
I
there.
didn't she kind of?
She kind of
Maybe.
screamed, but like that didn't do anything.
No.
But yun nga, kasi we forgot to mention that the Monarch people, especially Dr. Emma, had a device that could kind of talk to them and using their own like sounds
Their sound
and
waves,
like all that scientific stuff.
It was called the orca.
The orca.
After killer whales. So, diba, according to Mark, who was, Kyle Chandler.
Finding Dory ang peg na.
The whales. Oh, ayan. Galing ni Cholo. He can be an orca on his own. Next thing you know, he's gonna wake up.
Next thing you know, we have a mini-sode that's all just orca talk.
We're gonna figure out the different signals of each titan. That's it pala. So that orca is a device that Emma Russell and her husband Mark created to collect the sound waves of these different titans and communicate with them to get them to do different stuff, like to be docile or to attack or to just wake them up. So it's a really powerful
But it got
device.
compromised, quote unquote. But the plot twist was they were actually helping the Mother Earth.
Yes.
Which we should recognize talaga because, the Earth's not getting any cleaner.
That's true.
Climate change is a real thing. Donald Trump and President Dougherty. Dougherty.
Tatay Digong naman kasi.
Tatay D.
Daddy D. We should stop. Okay,
you should stop.
I will stop.
You should find another daddy.
Who can be in Godzilla?
Godzilla. So anyway, back to the Titans. These are not the Teen Titans or Remember the Titans. These
Great
are
references.
kaiju.
Yes.
And they were awesome as
amazing.
hell. Ako kasi, I'm not into super action-y movies, but this was just like, wow. Tastefully done. The cinematography was great. Even the wide shots themselves.
Yes. Oh my god.
Art. If there was an art book for this, I'd probably get it because the designs were just so good.
Right?
So there were several Titans featured because in the first movie they showed the Muto.
Yeah.
Tama na ba? They had two Mutos.
And Godzilla. So basically
and Godzilla.
Two kinds of Titans.
Yeah,
first
and
bit.
this introduced more.
Yes.
One of them was Rodan.
Yes.
Who for me looked like Charizard without the orange like skin.
Yeah, because he's basically a fire, an on fire pterodactyl, like an oversized pterodactyl.
Basically, Charizard.
He is basically Charizard. So he's the one in Mexico.
I didn't really know the name like for some part of the movie, so I was like, Bea, nasa na si Charizard.
Literally the whole time, it's just like, is that Charizard? Charizard's here to attack. Toot.
And next, the main villain, Titan, who isn't a Titan, apparently.
That's true.
Who's not. Alien? They say in the movie, an invasive species, is the Ghidorah.
King Ghidorah.
Or King Ghidorah.
God,
I don't recognize him as a king.
They did.
We only have one king.
And that long live the king?
Long live the king.
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
So King Ghidorah is this three-headed Hydra.
Heil Hydra.
Yes, hail at Captain America. If you're out there listening. So he actually has an ancient rivalry with Godzilla, and they've been fighting for how many millennia, trying to dominate the
Titans.
Yeah, and the Titans, exactly.
And I think they found an old ancient city underwater, and a lot of the illustrations on the rocks or like the ruins showed not just Gojira but also
the other
Titans and Ghidorah.
Ghidorah, exactly.
But yeah, spoiler alert, Ghidorah is defeated after sacrifices by humans, aka Dr. Serizawa, R.I.P.
In peace, R.I.P. in peace. And also Vera Farmiga, actually.
Yeah, sad. She had to go back to Annabelle because I've been seeing a lot of articles saying she's the worst movie mom ever.
Oh my god. Actually, that's not a bad point. That's why she
Was she? I mean, she was trying to save the Earth.
That's true, but did the ends justify
The means? Probably not.
Probably not.
She could have just explained it to everyone before just going on a whim and
that's true. Unleashing
all the monsters
and be like, oh my god, this is not what I meant to happen. And she tries to find redemption by sacrificing herself, which is probably another reason why she died in the film.
And a contractual thing.
And contractual.
Because
right?
she has more Conjuring movies.
Oh god, in that universe.
Or in Filipino, Conjuring. Anyway, of course if we have the King or FPJ, joke lang. We also have the Queen
oh my god.
of all monsters.
Yes.
Her name is Mothra. And she is beautiful.
Gorgeous.
She's
divine.
a butterfree.
So this movie is actually just a movie about Pokemon. That's really it. That's really it.
Godzilla is actually just an oversized and Charmander.
Oh, he is
with like a big belly.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. There's a Charmander, there's a Charizard.
Yeah.
Butterfree.
A Hydra. I don't think there's a Hydra Pokemon.
I don't think, unless there is in the new gen.
Yeah, I'm not so familiar with that. But anyway, yeah, Mothra was beautiful. She had to sacrifice herself as well to like live in Godzilla.
Exactly, but it's amazing because like Mothra is the softest looking Titan in the movie,
and even her voice, her screams were like, hey!
Yeah, they were. Oh my god, they were like music to your ears. They were like I know there are people who are afraid of moths. Like I know people who are afraid of moths, but I hope that when these people see Mothra, they will be enthralled. Kasi ang ganda niya talaga,
yes,
guys.
big word, enthralled.
You gotta use that CW degree, diba? So she's this beautiful moth with really bright blue orange wings, and actually interestingly enough, I saw this on Twitter the other day from the director. Because Mothra has eye patterns on her wings, and
akala ko iPads,
yes, mayaman si Mothra. She has eye patterns on her wings, and the director actually said that it resembles Godzilla's eyes.
What?
Yeah.
Aww.
It's like their symbiotic relationship because about their king and queen.
Yeah, and that's species. Really cool.
Super.
Love
Super
wins.
Cool. Love,
but she dies.
She does, but for love. And for
love of the earth and Godzilla.
Right? And oh my god, speaking of Mothra, there's that scene. Remember that scene when Godzilla emits the fire blast at the end? Actually, I don't think we noticed it when we watched it. And I watched it twice, so I'm kind of dumb, I guess. But when you watch it,
you graduated college.
Well, that's true. But in that scene, apparently, when Godzilla explodes in fire, you can actually see Mothra's wings and hear her cry.
What?
Yes, they posted screenshots on Twitter.
I'm gonna look for it.
Yeah,
on
so
Twitter.
watch it again or like see it. I don't know, clips online.
Yeah,
right. Because it's another great detail that shows how great their relationship as.
And symbiotic. I think it's a good indication of how well they did in creating the production design.
Yes,
it was a whole spectacle. Ang galing. As
Super.
in, I guess it's also coming from the fact that the producers got an Oscar for King Kong Skull Island.
Actually, wait, they got nominated, but
well, I think not an Oscar pala, an Oscar nomination.
Still though, it's
and it had Brie Larson and Tom Hiddleston, so
the base
bisexual
I know.
again.
I'm hot.
Okay, so yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
I'd research more about the production design and what went into it. Yes. But is it a yes, a sax, or a pass?
Well, for me, given what I was looking for in the film and what I got in terms of like the designs of the monsters, because they actually kept the original 50s, 60s, 70s. 80s and 90s designs and then just updated them actually, which is a great homage to the originals. It's a yes for me. So obviously if you're looking for something with like a strong, sensible, logical and emotion-filled human story, this might
go
not
watch
be the film.
Something else.
Yeah, watch a drama. But if you want to see really big titans or kaiju fighting, and not just for the sake of fighting, but for the sake of something greater
The
than
world.
them, right? For the world, for their species, for their alphaness. Then watch King of the Monsters. Beautiful.
It is
film.
a yes for me as well.
Yes.
Long live the king.
The King. FPJ.
FPJ is ang probinsyano.
Oh, that's still running.
And it's on Netflix.
Oh my god.
And speaking of Netflix, Hintayan ng Langit is gonna be out. Oh, it's already out at this time that we're posting this episode. And I hope Eddie Garcia, who stars in that movie, has a speedy recovery coming from his injury
That's true.
in a GMA 7 teleserye set. So, what is the future of the Godzilla universe? There's gonna be a sequel coming out next year, agad-agad.
True.
And it's gonna be Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yes. Woo, exciting.
That's super exciting. I mean, we've seen these people fight before.
People sila.
We consider them people. We've seen these monsters fight each other before in like previous incarnations,
True.
but with this technological advancements, and I mean, we know already na ang ganda na ma-achieve ng production team na to.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait to see. Well, I have a theory that the first movie kasi was in San Francisco. I mean, the King Kong one was in Skull Island.
Yeah.
So, you know. And then this second Godzilla one was in Boston. And shout out the Philippines. Lumabas yung Pilipinas.
Yes.
Pinoy Pride.
Oh, the first one.
The very first.
First Godzilla.
Ay, hindi pala, was it in this movie?
No,
it was in the last movie pala.
Yeah,
Lumabas
with the
yung
Muto.
Philippines doon with the
Oo.
Muto. So anyway, this showed Boston. So I'm pretty sure, not really, but I'm hopefully thinking that the third Godzilla movie with King Kong will be in New York.
Oh my god, which is the capital of all major destructive action films.
Yeah.
As we all know, diba?
So that's something exciting to look forward to. So I heard it's kind of delayed though, from early next year to a bit later next year. So it's still next year.
Yeah.
And time flies by so quickly.
That's true.
That's pretty much it for our Godzilla,
Yay!
the King of the Monsters.
Watch it.
Gojira.
FPJ. Gojira.
Gojira discussion.
Yes.
So before we end, I will ask you for your pop stop since I've been talking about all my recommendations for the week. Naubos na yung mga recos ko kasi I have to catch up on more things. But I'd like to ask you for your recommendation of the week. Is there anything you'd like to recommend to our listeners?
What I would recommend is the play that I am working on. Ayan na. So guys, it's Happy Pride, diba? This whole June Pride Month. June Pride Month. June Pride Month.